Theme song. Theme song. Oh, theme song. Oh, tick tock tick. Oh, my name is Mauricio Rivera, and this is my dumbass opinion about everything. What up? Okay, so I'm not usually the snazziest motherfucker, but I ain't usually this bummy either. Um, and I was outside painting, like the super duper muy awesome Renaissance man that I am. I was outside painting, and I had a couple of thoughts. One was, oh, I know what I want to talk about in the podcast next, and then the oh, everybody wants to be noisy. Trucks. Is that the trash man? It is the trash man. So yeah, first thought was I know what I want to talk about in the podcast next, and the next thought was if I don't do it right now, like right this fucking second, it's gonna get lost. It's gonna get lost in the sauce, and I'm not gonna be able to do. I probably won't do it all week. I'm opening the store. Um, I have never opened a store before. I don't really have the money to do exactly what's in my head, but I'm working on it. And I got shit happening this week, to further the cause. And I've been painting more because I got, and then I get to damn, my kids are crazy people. And then, I got a lot of stuff going on. I got a lot of stuff going on. So, yeah, if I didn't do it right now, it was probably going to get pushed to all the way next week. So, yeah, I lost yesterday. All yesterday because I was depressed about the goofball ass the Raiders. I was depressed. I thought we had that game against the Texans, and so it threw me off. I told you guys in earlier episodes, it's one of the few things that's hyper irrational about me is my love for the Raiders, and they really fucking blew me. You know what I mean? Did I say they really blew me? Blew my whatever, dude. Anyways, so that's why I look like this, and that's why we have to do this right now, and that's why it's just kind of flying by the seat of my pants today. So this is called my dumbass opinion about everything because it's my dumbass opinion. It might be a dumb opinion, but it's mine. It's an opinion formed by real life experiences. It wasn't given to me um, by some cultivated news that I sought out. It wasn't given to me by other people through secondhand information. It wasn't given to me by my parents or by my buddies. You know what I mean? It's mine. I win, lose, or draw. It's fucking mine. I was. I'm from Compton. My whole family's from Compton, but we moved to South Central when I was about 5 or 7. Me and my mom moved to South Central when I was, I don't know, 5, somewhere around there. And I went to elementary school over there. And then my mom got a job in Santa Monica. And so I started going to sixth grade in Santa Monica, in John Adams. Now, if you are from Los Angeles or California, you know anything about the area, then you know there's a huge difference between going to 102nd Street, 107th Street Elementary School and John Adams Middle School, South Central in Santa Monica. Um, and then we moved to Marina Del Rey, which, if you know anything about the area, then you know that there's no bigger leap than moving from South Central. We lived on 102nd and Broadway to Marina Del Rey, Marina Point, Lincoln and Maxella. If you know, you know. Um, so and then in between there, after John Adams, I was going to private school. I went to Oakwood and shit like that, and that's if you know anything about the little private college prep schools like the Oakwoods and the Crossroads, the Brentwoods, Campbell Hall, Windward, Harvard Westlake, they're all in the same little. It's a fucking experience being a black person going there. Is That's another thing. If you know, you know. Um, so I went to those schools. Once I got to high school, really, I mean, I went everywhere. I went to Malibu High School. I went to Santa Monica High School, Palisades, Westchester, Cypress. I was homeschooled. I'm fucking forgetting some things. Um, so when I talk about like LA, like it's from experience because I'm all over LA. You know what I mean? Um, when I during those times I was in Shakespeare Festival LA, so I was like doing plays. I was part of the Santa Monica Playhouse, so I was doing plays, stage plays, and I was also like I used to get arrested all the time for fighting in public and stealing shit, stolen credit cards, blah blah blah. Um, yeah, kid shit. But vastly different experiences on a daily basis. Just two different, not different lives, but just experiencing two different sides of the spectrum. Um, Two different groups of people. Uh, I went to college. Throughout all of that madness, I managed to go to Cal State Northridge and have those experiences. And so when I talk about that, I was there. When I talk about girls, I've always or women, I've always been in functional relationships. My high school girlfriend was nothing like my college girlfriend, and my college girlfriend was nothing like my first real adult girlfriend. And my first real adult girlfriend is it seems like she's like my first wife, but she's not like my first wife at all. My first wife is a whole another, yeah. And then my current wife is another thing. Like, so when I speak about, and then the people that I've dated in between. Um, so when I speak about women, I'm speaking of first-hand knowledge of a person that's been in relationships. You know what I mean? It's a person that's dated on a regular basis. Um, when I speak about criminal shit or whatever, and I give my opinion on that, it's not. I've been to prison a couple times. I've done several stints in the county jail. When I talk about psychology, mental health, I've been remanded to a psychiatric institution a few different times. Um, I'm speaking from that experience. I've had therapists and psychs for over 20 years. Um, when I talk about like entertainers, just because I still get checks to this day because I've been like entertaining and in the game and making music and shit like that since I was like 20. Um, I've performed in this country in most states, probably all but like maybe fucking 5 states, 5 or 7 states, some shit like that. So when I'm talking about that, like I've been there. I know these people. Um, uh, you know, like when I talk, I don't just read, one kind of thing. I read all kinds of things. A lot of it had to do with incarceration and being bored. But a lot of it is just since I was young, I've read like a myriad of things. Um, so my opinions are from fucking experience. I didn't just grow up in one area and have my mom and dad tell me a certain thing, and then I went to school, this one school with this group of friends from my community, and then we all went to high school together, and then we went, so we all shared the same ideas and shit like that. Even the counter ideas were still in the same box and in the same scope because they came from the same roots because you're from the same community. Your parents know each other and shit like that. You go to college, and you're supposed to be new ideas, but still that's insulated to the college you're at. So your ideas, if you go to USC or if you go to NYU or if you go to fucking Sarah Lawrence or some shit like that, or if you go to fucking Alabama, you're gonna have certain ideas that, even though you think of you're free thinking, I mean, they're in the construct of that place that you spend your time, and then you go back to your hometown most likely, and back to what you know, and so your ideas. Your experiences, you might take a couple of vacations and shit like that, but your experiences, though they seem to spread, if you really think about it, you'll realize that most of the stuff that you know is like secondhand information because you've been insulated your whole life. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just the nature of things. That's how things go. I've been uniquely off the wall. The reason why I went to so many high schools is because I like to fight. So I kept getting kicked out of school. But like I'm not an asshole. So like I like, I liked school. I liked the information. I liked acting classes. I liked, I was into that kind of shit. I didn't think people were nerds or anything like that. I just liked to fight, and I was mischievous. My dad wasn't around and shit. I knew him. It's not like he just wasn't around. He was doing his own shit. And my mom was just trying to kind of let me grow into myself, and I was, so I went to a lot of schools. The reason why we made such a jump is because my mom figured out some ways to wiggle to get us out of South Central and into Marina Del Rey. So my whole family's still in Compton and in that area, but we live in Marina Del Rey. So that's a unique experience I get to have. Through no design of my own. Um, I went to college because people who went to Westchester my year, Miss Hugo was a good college counselor, and I blew the SAT out of the fucking water. And she can get you, you're gonna get in there with very minimal effort. And so I got into college with very minimal effort. Um, and so I had that, and then you commit some crimes and shit like that, and you live that life, that you get that kind of money and shit like that. You do those kind of things, and then you go to prison. Even though I've been in and out of the county jail and I've been to prison a couple of times, honestly, that's really it's really not the type of motherfucker I am. And so I just keep falling into these unique experiences. Um, and so it's allowed me. I got lucky with the hip hop shit. I've got lucky on tours, you know what I mean, and been able to perform at. Hold on one second. Bucknell, Bucknell University is where I've been able to perform at. Everything okay out here? That one sounded intense. Pep, that scream sounded pretty intense. Everything okay? Okay. I have a life to lead, man. I have a real life. So, yeah. Uh, I've performed at Bucknell. And that was a matter of circumstance because I was in a hip hop group performing at places like Bucknell is a matter of circumstance. I was in a group for a long time. Uh, then I was in another group. I was in a group called Blue Collar. and we were dope. Like, but like our shows were, mad niggers. You know what I'm saying? It's a black thing, and they were dope, super dope. After that, we stopped doing that. I ended up hooking up with Josh, and we ended up doing King Fantastic. Now Josh was like, he's a white dude, and he was doing like dubstep shit at the time, and it was just by chance that I got introduced to that crowd through the fact that he was doing dubstep. So we used to do shows that regular hip hop acts didn't do, you know, EDM concerts and shit like that. Um, Random ass colleges, random ass places. I've lived out of the country. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm fucking not just talking like, oh, I'm fucking sitting on the internet trying to, or reading some fucking books that somebody's handed to me, just some hand picked books, and I'm able to, spew back, or not spew back. What the fuck am I trying to say? Regurgitate. I'm able to regurgitate. I've had a lot of concussions because I like to fight. But I like, I'm not just able to regurgitate some fucking rhetoric or some sophistry. A lot of people are able to do that shit really well. They can speak fast and they can say some shit that they read that was already well written. That's cool too. I'm not saying that that's any less. I'm just saying my shit has been a hands-on approach. For right, for wrong, it's been a hands-on approach. So why do you know what you know? Why do you think what you think? Some dickhead on Instagram told you what to think? Some fucking asshole celebrity, some fucking athlete who dunked their way through high school, you know what I mean, is gonna tell you what to think? Who's now, don't get me wrong. I'll take a person like because I'm saying they dunked their way through high school. Let's just take like a fucking LeBron. There's nothing wrong with him having an opinion. There's nothing wrong with him voicing an opinion. You know what I mean? But is that where you got your opinion from fucking LeBron James, dog? LeBron James dunked his fucking way through high school. Okay? And then he went straight to being a multimillionaire. So his experience is fucking not your experience. When he's talking to you, he's talking from the point of view of a businessman, a very successful, top tier, top of my craft businessman. The people that he knows are other fucking rich people. They don't operate in the same universe you do. They don't play by the same rules that you play by and shit like that. So you probably shouldn't get your opinions and your point of views from them, because they don't fucking transmute into a normal person's life. That has nothing to do. Let's not discount these people's philanthropic endeavors. It does not mean that their opinions aren't valid. It does not mean that they're not fucking geniuses. I'm just saying you should be very careful to base your fucking opinions or your point of views on one of these assholes. You know what I mean? You take an entertainer. They seem well, they seem like they live a life that we aren't privy to, that a normal person is not privy to, it will take you city to city and shit like that. But a lot of times, like, if you're a superstar, you are only hotel, venue, very controlled after party. You're in meetings that people put you in. You're in interviews that people put you in. You have, like, a handled situation because you are the money. You know what I mean? You don't fucking really know shit. What's been fed to you. Like I said in another episode, that the algorithm feeds you what, it thinks you want to hear. It doesn't feed you a necessary truth, even if there is a truth. It's not necessarily feeding you that truth. It's feeding you what you want to hear. My kids are going buck. You know what I mean? That's uncool. See, LeBron James couldn't tell you about parenting. You know what I mean? Because he has fucking 30 nannies probably. I'm in the trenches with you, my nigga. When I'm talking to you about parenting or some shit like that, it's because I'm with my kids all fucking day. You know what I mean? I'm in there with them. And I'm not saying that that's why you should trust me. I'm just saying that there's nothing behind this. You know what I mean? There's no fucking, I'm not tainted. I've been there. You know, I've my mind is pretty open. You know, like even when I talk about like white people, I'm not talking about them like from some stories I heard from Sean King, a white person, or some, or you know, some stories I read online or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been in their houses. They're my friends. I was married to a white person. Um, I went to school with some. You know, a lot. I went to school with different kinds of them. The white ones at Malibu are that I went to school with in Malibu are way different than like the white kids I went to private school with. Like private school, they were all Jewish, pretty wealthy, and the Malibu ones were wealthy, but not Jewish and not that liberal. And this was in the '90s. I don't know what they are. I don't know what they like now, but yeah, they didn't. What the fuck is that? They didn't. They didn't want you there. They in the early '90s if you weren't like basically from Malibu. So you know, it's from experience that I know these different types. You know, I've been to bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs, and you know, even my close friends are completely different. Mark's a barber and an entrepreneur in Dallas. Jason's is traveling corporate scum. You know, he was in New York. Now he's running another company in Florida. Um, fucking Graham's a goddamn marine biologist in New Jersey. That fucking, you know, Lisa's a teacher. Lisa teaches kindergarten, I think. Kindergarten or first grade. These are my close friends. Close partners in the music industry and shit like that, you know. So I'm pulling from a bunch of different places when I say what I say. And I'm seeing a lot of people that are making a lot of declarations, and I'm wondering where their experiences come from, you know? Or has it just been fed to them? Every time that cuts off, it throws me off. My kids are throwing me off. Everything's throwing me off. Let me wrap this shit up because I do have to finish painting and everything. My base point was that my dumbass opinions, at least they're mine. What are your opinions? Who gave you that shit? Why do you think that? Is it circumstantial? You know, a lot of philosophers, their philosophies come out of the times that they were in. If you were a fucking uh, Jewish philosopher in 1935, dude, you had a focal point. You know what I'm saying? You had a fucking focal point. If you were a Negro philosopher in the 1800s, you had a fucking focal point. Yeah? I'm saying? Like if you're Simone de Beauvoir, you know, and you got some feminist shit going on because it's very specific to the life that you lead at that time. You know, you write the ethics of ambiguity. You know what I'm saying? You write fucking these sort of things and shit like that because these are important to you. So where are you getting your thoughts from? Why do you think what you think? And is it productive for what time and space you're living in, for what you're trying to do, for what you're trying to accomplish, to what end? You know what I mean? Um, and I know I'm all over the place. I'm drinking coffee like a fucking madman because I hadn't planned on being on camera today. Um, I'm trying to squeeze a bunch of shit into a small amount of time. It's early in the morning right now. And people are coming by. We're going to talk about the grand opening for the store later. And so I'm rushing and I'm drinking coffee and I probably look crazy. But yeah, man. A lot of people call themselves free thinkers. They think they're free thinkers. And they've literally been corralled and boxed into a pretty small fucking frame of thought, frame of reference. Like, do you only know what's been given to you? Have you experienced anything? Or did your mama tell you that? Did your daddy tell you that? Do you act like that because that's how your dad acted? You know what I mean? And I don't blame you. I'm not a Christian, but sometimes, and I'm not saying I have not been affected by anybody's train of thought. I'm just saying my spread, my experiences. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm not saying, I've had a lot of influences and shit like that, and I've had a lot of subconscious influences. Before I eat, I'm not a Christian, but before I eat, I go, uh, oh, shit, I can't even. It's like I have to have food in front of me to even remember this shit. That's how deeply embedded into my subconscious it is. As we partake of earthly food, the table thou art spread. We're not forget to thank the Lord for our daily bread. I say that shit before I eat most of the time. You know what I mean? And I'm not Christian. I don't believe that this need, I need to fucking get demons up off of this food or say thank you for fucking something that's a basic necessity. Um, but I do. I say that shit. So how much subconscious shit do we just out here saying because it's just been handed to us? It's because it's been given to us. Like, evaluate your experiences and then go get some more, man. You know? I know it's hard to go outside these days, and that shit, as an old motherfucker, I don't even know how I would even, well, an old motherfucker with my little social disorder. I don't really like being out, but I don't know how I would even go get new experiences, so I can't knock people for fucking sitting in their boxes. I just wish that they realized that that's what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish more people realize like you just don't know what the fuck you talking about, dude, because you don't know. You ain't been in a mix like that, bro. Like, I don't care how fucking interesting or intelligent you make the shit sound, you don't know what the fuck you talking about because you ain't been in a mix like that. You don't know what it's like to be a criminal only from talking to a criminal. The same way you don't know what it's like to be a prize fighter from talking to a prize fighter. You know what I'm saying? You have to be in that shit. You don't know what it's like to be, you know, I see people giving relationship advice that aren't in relationships, that haven't been in really relationships, that, you know what I mean? Like, that have been historically dysfunctional motherfuckers. And I'm just, those are a couple of crude examples and shit like that. But extrapolate. You know what I mean? Use your own mind and, apply that to whatever you want to apply it to. Like, do you know what the fuck you talking about? Was you there? Or is your opinion handed to you? And the opinion that was handed to you might not necessarily be wrong. It just ain't yours. You know what I mean? Somebody else did the work. Somebody else did the thinking. And that's okay in certain situations, but like it's really not like if you want to be a progressive society, we got to all, make sure that we thinking for ourselves first and foremost. And man, not just thinking for yourself, you know what I'm saying, but really cultivating your thought process. Because just thinking random ass shit or being counterculture for the sake of, being counterculture, like, like I'm gonna just be the devil's advocate because that's thinking. That's really not. It could be that a base conservative thought is proper for your life. I don't know. I don't know none of this shit. I'm just saying do a little bit more investigation as to why you fucking are so adamant about certain things and why other things just don't seem to matter to you at all. I won't let, nope, I won't do it. I was about to get drugged into some Kanye West shit. My mind almost drugged me into some Kanye West. I was about to waste some time on that, man. I ain't gonna do it. All I'm gonna say is don't be calling yourself a fucking free thinker and you somebody else's goddamn puppet because they fed you your thoughts. Be able to articulate where you coming from. If you ask me a question about anything I say, anything, I can give you a coherent response that is very basic, that a child can understand. Or I can give you a response that's 30 minutes and it's detailed. But I can give you a response that makes fucking sense. That you can tell that I've put some time and thought into it. That you can tell I was there. And I think as Jeezy said, you know what I'm saying? You seen it, done it, lived it, been in it. You know what I'm saying? uh, oh, man. I hear y'all. No, whatever. I'm not about to start rapping Jeezy either. My name is Mauricio Rivera. That was my dumbass opinion about everything. Got my new logo. I don't know where I'm going to put it because I don't even know how to do that shit on YouTube yet. Radio people, I don't know. You don't see what I'm doing with my hands and it doesn't matter. But yeah, I don't. My new logo, wherever I'm gonna end up putting it, was done by the homeboy Leslie. Uh, look him up on Instagram. It's man, he has a fucking really hard name. To say, like it's like least I can still draw a bit. Least I can still draw a bit. His name is Leslie Densey. And I would be able to put it right here if I knew how to do graphics, but I don't. I think I'm done, man. I think I'm done. Am I? Did you get the point? I hope so. Coffee, coffee, theme song, coffee, coffee, theme song.